my tablet this time because I was hoping that I wouldn't waste any more paper. I'm like always printing stuff and reprinting it. So everybody has seen me before, or maybe not. My name's Beci Rohkohl, and I am a fourth-year ministerial student, and I am honored to be here, especially on this day. This is the last day of the year. This is I don't know about you, but 23 hit me like a rock, okay? And I am grateful to let go and and move past it, because there's been some stuff, ooh, Lord Almighty. Anyway, so before I get started on this talk, I want to tell you the story about this adventure. It's not a perfect shot, but it's the best I could do. There's this gentleman that is an adventurer, trekker, if you will, not Star Trekker, okay? You know, likes to do long walks. And he's walking along and he sees the most beautiful sunrise. So he goes to the top of this cliff, and as he's standing there watching the sunrise, he loses his footing and he goes over the side. And as he's going down, there's a big root from a tree that he grabs hold of. Okay, so he's hanging, dangling, imagine, off the side here. And he looks down and he sees there's about a 100-foot drop, and it's all rocks on the bottom. No chance of letting go and landing in water, right? Which would be my luck. So he's standing there, he's holding on there, and he's looking down, and he's like, oh. So he just like, okay. He starts yelling, somebody up there, can you help me? Nothing, right? He waits a second, he's like, his arms are starting to get tired. He hasn't been hanging there that long, but his arms are already starting to get tired. So he yells again, is somebody up there, could you help me? And nothing. So under his breath he goes, oh dear God, could somebody help me? Is there somebody up there? And he hears this booming voice says, I am here. And he's like, oh, thank God. He goes, yes. And the man's dangling there said, oh, is it you, God? He goes, yes, it is me. How can I help you? And he goes, I'm hanging here by a thread and I need to get back up there. Can you throw me a rope? Can you do anything? He goes, you know what? I'll stop gambling. I'll stop cheating on my wife. I'll do anything you want me to do. I promise you. And God looks at him and he says, son, you don't have to promise me anything. He goes, no, really, just throw me a rope. I'll stop spending all my money. I'll go to work. I'll do anything you want me to do. I'll go to church every Sunday and I'll go to confession. What do you want me to do? And God goes, what I want you to do is let go. And the guy's like, okay, the root's creaking. He's knowing he doesn't have a whole lot longer to hang on there, right? He looks down, he looks back up, he goes, let go. And God said, yes, I want you to let go. And he looks down again, he's hanging there, he's really getting worried. He goes, hello, is there anybody up there that can help me? Who wants to let go? Anybody really want to let go? So I can completely, sympathize with that story, because many times in my life, my letting go was, when God got it, it had claw marks on it. Because I'd let it go and then grab the corner back, and then I'd let it go and grab the corner back, and it's just like, especially where my adult children are concerned, I'd be like, oh yeah, they can do it. No, they can't. They need my help. I was trying to play their God, and we know who God is, right? Not me, not Beci, that's for sure. So this is the last day of 2023. Do you realize that this number, 123, 123, hasn't happened in 100 years? And it won't happen for another 100, right? So we are at a very unique stage, not only in our lives, but in the lives of our world. The entire world, maybe even the universe. So we're going to do the release, the renewal, the melting bowl. Traditionally, this is a burning bowl, but either way it works because they're both elements of earth, right? And we're going to have people come up and put their paper in there after they've written. And before I go any further, if you're online and you want to participate in this, you may not have a melting paper or a flash paper, but you can still do the process. So follow along with us and we'll get through this together.
Does anybody not have paper?
Yeah, the paper's in the back, but Dennis will hand out some paper for everybody because we're going to start this up. So where did I put my paper? This is the paper. It looks kind of small. Can we let go of a whole year? I suggest we can, because guess what? We don't have to write all the details, right? God's been there with us all along. He knows the details. He just wants to know, do we remember what we want to let go of? You know, so let's remember for ourselves. So we're going to use these little pieces of paper, and no worries if this is your first time. Is there anybody doing this for the first time? Yay, this is awesome. This is a great practice. I've been with Unity since 1999. And this is one of my favorite. And next week, when Reverend Tabor's here, the White Stone Ceremony is my second favorite of all the ones they do. It's a sacred practice with, at a point in time where we're trying to move on to the next year. Because like I said earlier, this year has been pretty challenging for me. Has it been challenging for anybody else? I'm not alone, right? Thank God. Thank God. I will let go. I might have to hang there a little bit longer. But we're going to celebrate it with water. And we know water is purification, cleansing, renewal. Water is actually life. You know, our bodies are more than 60% water. And some of our organs, like our brain and our heart, are even higher, like in the 90s, 93 and 95%. Water is life. That's what it is. And people travel thousands of miles to get into healing waters, right? There's ceremonies that happen with it. There's just so much that goes around water. And so I like the fact that we're doing it with water. This is my first opportunity to do it this way, and I'm kind of glad that I get to participate in it. And if you don't notice, not all these talks are just for you guys, okay? I'm learning too. Just because I've been in Unity a long time doesn't mean I'm not learning. So here we are, and it's a powerful ceremony, and mainly because of the intent behind it. You know, many years, you talk about all the time, people say, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution, and we know how well those go. Most of them don't go very well. Mine usually don't. But we're going to put this intention and into it and this purpose to move forward and drop the rocks. Many years ago, when I started in 12-step programs, I used to go to this one particular thing. There was always this elderly gentleman. By now, he can't even be alive anymore because I've been in 12 steps a long time. So he would sit in the corner, and all these newcomers would come in, and they'd be like, blah, 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 blah. And at one point in one meeting, he stops. He goes, you know, I see you kids come in here all the time, because we were all kids to him. And he said, you're carrying this big bag of rocks with you. And you set it down, and you reach in there, and you grab one of the rocks out, and you're blah, blah, blah about this rock. And then you put it back in the bag, you pick it up, and you carry it back out. He's like, set it down. Let it go. And to me that symbolized, I mean, I hadn't even learned that in Unity yet. It was actually, I started recovery before I actually started in Unity. Actually, recovery took me to Unity because there was a gentleman in our group that attended Unity. He's like, I think you might like the church. And I wound up in, it's a little church in Memphis, Tennessee, Unity of Memphis. And that was it was like really small, you know, but it was, I cried the first 6 weeks, just 6 months, so just so you know. I learned a lot in that time. Now this particular ceremony, to me, kind of resembles skipping rocks. Did anybody skip rocks when you were kids? Okay, all right, that was amazing, right? But there was a process to it. We didn't know that as kids. We just thought it was fun. But part of it was you had to find the right rock, because not just any rock would skip, right? And then you had to get the right angle as you're going down, otherwise blunk, you know? And we, because I was one of 5, we always spent our time trying to outdo the other one. I had 2 older brothers, so I spent a lot of time trying to outdo people. Otherwise, I wasn't going to be able to play, but it was always about how many rocks, how many skips can you get from that rock? I think my oldest brother one time got 12, which was amazing, and he was always so good at it, and I think I got up 9. But it's kind of like this. We have to examine the rock, we have to find the right angle, and let it go, and then we watch as it goes, and it disappears out of sight. To me, this is kind of what this releasing ceremony is about. Taking what we really need to let go of. As Maria Konda says, if it doesn't bring joy to your heart, let it go. right? So if it doesn't bring joy to our heart, let's skip the rocks down the road and move on. To me, it starts with reflection. Everybody knows that the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror, right? When you wouldn't drive a car, you wouldn't stare in the rearview mirror. You have this big, beautiful windshield and these two side windows that you can see out of just by facing forward. This is the now. This is what's coming. And this is the back. These little mirrors, it's the back. We're not meant to spend our time staring in those mirrors. You can have a lot of accidents if you do. Try even turning around, you know. I thank God my car has backup backup cameras, but we need to not stop focusing on the past. And one of the ways to do that is to reflect on what we need to let go of. So that's part of what we're going to do today. The next one is, of course, release. Now the dandelion does it so beautifully. It just lets go. It came here to do what it needs to do, right? The caterpillar does it just as easily. Nature shows us all the time. The trees let go. So in all these things that are surrounded us, our humanness goes, no, wait a minute. I might be able to fix it if I just try a little harder, if I just add a little bit more love. Oh my gosh, that was my story. If I just gave them a little bit more love, they'd change. They'd be different. They'd come around. They'd love me back. Who spent their time trying to give somebody else more love so that they could get their love in return? You don't have to raise your hands. I'll do it for you. As I did. I mean, I found the unity when I was 36 years old. To me, I feel like I wasted 36 years. Because I could have known so much more about myself. maybe I wouldn't have gone through all these other things, but in hindsight, I was there at the perfect time I needed to be. And I was grateful that, unlike many people in my family, never got to the point of healing and died in their sickness. And I am so glad that at least I was able to find God and to heal and get recovery. But we're going to release, right? We're going to learn to be like nature and just let it go. And like our beautiful song by Jack, right? And the next one is, I don't know why that didn't come up there. Hold on. There it is. It is it's renewal, which to me is a threshold. I learned, and I've searched all week, this week, trying to figure out what book I read it from. But many years ago, I read a book about thresholds. Threshold can be a doorway. A threshold can be an arch. A threshold can be the new year, like we're on right now, our 100-year turnover, right? A threshold can be anything that we want it to be, but what does it symbolize to me? To me, it symbolizes this is the past, and this is where I want to go. So we walk through thresholds in our life. Joseph Campbell says this. Joseph Campbell's the author, and he says, we must be willing to let go of the life we planned as to have the life that is waiting for us. That hurt. I seriously cried because I just was like, all this time I spent planning, and I really need to just be in my life because my life is waiting for me. And I spent a lot of years in that, unfortunately. So here we are, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. December 31st, 23, right? It's an amazing time for people to be in. Like I said, it's going to be a year, 100 years before we get back to that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So our planet, our lives, our world, maybe even our universe is changing right now. And because we are who we are, we know that we're on the forefront of that change. We have open minds. We have all that we need. We have the Christ light within each and every one of us to move forward in this change and hold the rest of the world in their process of moving forward. Because every time you go out and shine your light, you give someone else permission to shine theirs. Because there are people, and I'm telling you, I was one of them, that didn't know they had the right to shine. They didn't know. Until someone said, hey, guess what? You're bigger than that. You're more than that. You're going to be someone that brings light to other people. I don't keep any of it for myself. I try, they say that a candle lights another candle, loses nothing. That's what I want to be. That candle of love, that candle of light for the next person, so that they can go out and we can transform the world through this. Now, I'm not really good with numbers, numerology. I have a friend that I thought she was, but she said she does astronomy. Her name's Annie. She lives in Arizona. And I'm like, so Annie, tell me where we're at in our planet lineup. Where are we going right now? Because I'm curious what this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 means. And I will summarize what she said, because it was a lot. She says, the date represents a reboot for the universe. We are rebooting. She said, Plato's has moved into Aquarius. I have no idea what it means, which is involved in the major upheavals coming out right now. So all this turbulence that we're all seeing on the news or hearing about that hurts our hearts, it's time to change all that. That's what all of this is. It's coming, it's turbulent, we're seeing it all. And she said the last day of 2023 is going to be a real tipping point. A shift in energy, awareness, and politics. Thank you, God. I didn't say that too loud, right? Thank you, God. Because it's time. It's time for us to move forward, and it's time for the lights to shine. And then, this is the fun part, she says on 1/1/24, there will be clarity on the direction we've committed to. We have intentionally committed to. What is your intentional commitment to the next year? Right? And you're going to work with that with Reverend Blair last year. You're going to write out your letters, right? I mean, next week. So this is a picture of my granddaughter went to Italy this summer and she went and saw the Pope. She was some of her Catholic friends, and she was she actually took this picture with her cell phone and sent it to me. And she said, for many of us, we have no idea what's next. Does anybody know what's next? I mean, I'd like to say I planned it, but God said, guess what? Surprise! And some of those surprises are not very fun. Some of them are very painful, in fact. And some of them may change my life forever. And I'm going to walk through it intentionally anyway, because I know this is my time in life, and this is where I'm supposed to be at my story. I had a really, well, as you can imagine, turbulent childhood. I try not to give you the details, but I think it was Dickinson that said his childhood was very shattered, where his father wasn't much of a father and his mother wasn't much of a mother, and that was my story. Been through a lot. I carried that right into being a mom. I didn't know any better. I thought this was how you were supposed to live, until God was with the 2x4, right? He goes, hello, that's not who you are. And you need to pay attention and be intentional. So this releasing bowl offers us the opportunity to be made anew next year. Wouldn't that feel good? To just be different, to walk differently, to lighten our load. The compression of the stuff that we carry is just mind-boggling. How do we carry it? It seems like we're on an accelerated path sometimes. It just seems like 20 years ago, it didn't seem like it was so busy and so hard and so much. And I'm ready to release it. I am ready, because I can, it's not good for you to carry that. That's not what we're supposed to be here for. But because if I can do it, maybe I can show the path for other people too as well. And that's my ministry. That's what I like to do with my ministry. And in this, there's a scripture that I wanted to say. The Psalms 51st wrote, create in me a clean heart, O Lord, and renew a right spirit within me. And he doesn't mean right or wrong. He just means for the purpose of my life, let me move in a right way. The way you would have me, instead of I would have me, which I think I know better, but I don't. So it's going to give us a chance to sort through what we need to keep what we want to keep, what serves us, what makes a plus in our lives. There's been a challenge that I've come across just recently, and I don't want to cry when I say this, but I've had the opportunity to not tell some people. And I had to think about it long and hard, because I think really you should share challenges, because I think you can find love and support in those challenges. But that's if the people you're sharing with are loving and supporting.
Right.
And so part of my sorting this year, unfortunately, has had to decipher, who do I share this with? Because if they're just going to tell me, oh, it's going to get better, oh, everything's going to be all right, oh, that doesn't serve me. I want them to sit with me in the muck and go, yep, it sucks.
Yeah.
It does. What do you want to do next? Because those are the people that support me. Those are the people that help me realize who I am instead of trying to tell me who I'm supposed to be. So we're going to get to sort people. We're going to get to sort feelings. We're going to get to sort this guy out right here. Because this guy right here, as I'm driving down the road, sometimes it's just like, where did that come from? A song will come on the radio, and all of a sudden I'm 15 years old, acting out, doing all this stuff I should have never done, and I'm like, what? How did I get back there? You know? And I have to shut it off and I have to think, okay, my intention for this time is to do this. This is where I want to go with my life. And bring it back to that positive. So we're going to get to sort that, our own little minds, our own little hearts, even our houses. You may have a cluttered house, you don't have to raise your hand, I'll do it. I'll do two for you, because I do, it's like, oh, if I just took that out of there, there'd be so much space, and I would feel more comfortable, because there wasn't 4 shelves there with all this stuff. I have a collection of books you wouldn't believe. And being a Unity ministerial student, that didn't help. Because now I can't let go of those books because I've learned so much from them, you know. I let people borrow them, but please give them back. You know, and this is like, my husband was saying, he goes, what is all this? I said, those are my books, those are my education. That is me living my life right there. And he goes, maybe you need to call it a little. maybe I do. We get to discern in this what's ours to keep, what's ours to let go. We can take that rock, look at it, and let it be. We don't have to carry it. We don't have to carry that weight anymore. That's what this whole process is for. So, are we ready to do this process? So, when I'm going to talk in the first a little bit about it, and then we're going to go into a longer meditation. That's why we didn't meditate earlier. You guys are used to doing it one way, right? That's why we didn't do it earlier, because I'm going to guide you through part of it, and then part of it's just going to be just music. Because I don't want to give you my words. I want you to go inside and find your own, okay? Because my words don't serve you. They're just a catalyst for you to get you thinking about what you want to do and what you want to release. So, we're going to use our little paper, and we're going to remember, we don't have to write out every word about it. We can put a name, one name, we can put a small phrase. There is a front and a back if you feel it's necessary, okay? You do have space, and you can write small if you want. But that's not the point, because we know that our Christ, the Christ that connects us to each other and to God, knows what's going on. So we're going to give ourselves an opportunity to write it down. And at the end of that, when we have that space, and when you're complete, I want you to come up to the water bowl. I'm not going to tell you when you're complete, but at the end of the meditation, what I'm going to do is say, is there anybody left that needs to process this? So I can give you a little bit more time, okay? I don't want to rush anybody, and maybe you won't get it all right now. Maybe you'll go home and at 11:59 you go, oh crap, there's one else I need to put on the list. You know, and you go and hurry and do it real fast, because this isn't something that we only have to do once, but we want to get it a big purge right now so we can let this stuff go. Because I'm going to tell you, it's not only hard to carry, we don't need to. God's got this. God's got this. Okay.
Just drop it in the bowl.
So yes, when you come up to the bowl, when you're ready, you're going to drop it in, and then they said you were supposed to give it a little stir. Does it? No, easier than that. Okay, we got stir sticks back here. We can bring them up here.
I'll have everything up.
Okay. Sunshine will bring up the stir stick, so if it doesn't immediately melt, I've never used the dissolving paper, so just give it a little stir, and let the water cleanse it. Let the water release and let it go. So that it purify not only the words and the things, but ourselves. That's where we need to get clear inside ourselves. Okay? All right. And like I said, we'll have some quiet time at the end. So get your piece of paper. And I'm also going to stop, like I said, talking, because I'm going to write mine too. I'm a little selfish here. I'm going to write mine too. I've got my pen and my piece of paper up here. Okay. So let us begin with our meditation. Are we going to have music in the background? Okay. Jack's going to come up and start the music. He's techie. He's going to start it from back there. Look at him. He's like, I'm doing mine too. Are you ready? Does anybody have any questions before we start the process? Did I leave anything out that didn't make sense? Okay. Are we going to dim the lights just a little bit or leave them the way they are? Okay, we'll dim the lights a little bit. So I want you to just get comfortable in your seats, and I want you to be present, here and now. All the little editor, the little chatter in your mind, with every breath, I want you to release it. Just breathe in and release. And just continue to do that. All the while, what you're going to do is you're going to move from your head, your thoughts, into your heart space, your Christ light. So just begin the meditation by taking your breaths in, continuing to breathe, and allowing your mind and your body to settle in this space. You might want to close your eyes if you don't want to. To me, it's easier to do that. I get visually distracted. And this is a sacred time of releasing. You're going to sort in your mind. And it's not going to be as hard as you think, because it is going to bubble up for you. What you need to let go will come to the surface. So think about your connection to the divine. And I want you to feel that connection in your heart. Feel the warmth that Spirit brings to you. Just breathe into that. No matter what's happened in your life, whether it was you doing it or someone doing it to you, you can let go. Any obstacle that comes up that you faced, anything that has bothered you, not only in this past year, but all along, we can let go. We can create in ourselves a clean heart and renew within us a right spirit. Spirit is here with us. Trust that what you need to let go of in this moment is rising. And at any time in the process, feel free to write. You don't have to keep your eyes closed. You can stop, put something down, and go back into this. Because what's coming up needs to come up. It can be a thought, a feeling, an emotion that surfaces into your awareness, and it's ready to be released. What might be holding you back from living the life you desire? What is there that you can give to God and let God heal it? Let your Christ light heal all of this. Any attachments, any suffering, the need for imperfection, the need for perfection, any old dreams, or needing to hold on when we can open our hand and let go. Release any anger, resentment, bitterness, and even shame, jealousy, and unforgiveness of yourself or someone else. At any time, you can jot down what comes to your mind on the paper. And it doesn't have to be whole sentences, you know that. Just a phrase about it. Maybe you're releasing an unwelcome habit that you're tired of carrying. Maybe it's a physical condition you'd like to release, a relationship issue, an employment situation, any and everything you'd like to put behind you in this moment. It could be a disappointment over a dream that didn't happen. Divine timing hasn't brought it to you yet. Release it to God's timing. Right here, right now is a safe space to let go and let God. Whatever you're ready to give to the healing power of Spirit once and for all. We also bless the past. We bless that it served us at the time, but it no longer serves us in that way. It's time to let it go. Release, release, and forgive ourselves for hanging on so long. So as you're ready, come and put yours in the bowl, and we'll go into the silence for a few minutes.
Just put it in.
Yeah, stick it in the water bowl and stir it. play. Just let it play. I think let it play. Okay. It's right, just at the right tone, you know, just, yeah, okay. Good choice. Is there anybody left that still needs a chance to come up? Okay. Breathe that in. You let it go. You don't have to hold on to it anymore. It's not yours. Feel the expansion you feel as the weight rolls off your shoulders. We've created that space, what we want in our lives. We've created expansion and awareness that we can be open and receptive, patiently waiting for God to fill. Take another breath in. Let go and let God. There we go. Let's come back to this room when you're ready. This is an amazing practice of meditation, of the long meditations. I used to teach centering prayer, and that's, I don't know if anybody's experienced that or not, but it's very contemplative, but it brings the energy way down in the room. So remember who we are. And now that we've released what we don't want to carry in this to this year, we're just going to let it go. We're going to drop the rock right here and right now, and we're going to move on. Okay? I have this for you. This is from a book called The Silence. And I've told you before about truthunity.net. It's an amazing resource for anybody that wants most of the Unity books for free that you can download. All the stuff from the Fillmores, all the new thought leaders that are willing to let it. There's sermons out there, there's everything. It's truthunity.net. Reverend Mark Hicks started, that's how he started his ministry. This is from a book called The Silence by E.V. Ingram. He says this: the silence is not an end in and of itself. It is merely a means to an end. It is the only threshold to greater things. For beyond the silence lies all the infinite resources of God. One second. This was the end of it. To open the door and pass this threshold into the presence of being, consciously living and moving and having your being in God is your privilege. Once you have entered into the light, continue to walk in that light, for the light becomes your life. So let's pray. Divine Spirit, we give thanks for your presence in this moment and in our lives, and for the work you did here today for each one of us to be able to let go and let God. And it is our intention to do so. And if it ever comes back up, we say we intend to let God have it, and we let it go again. Because this humanness sometimes traps us. So we go forth trusting Spirit and knowing Spirit does perfect work within us, with us, and as us. And in the new year, we remain receptive and present to the unfolding good that is coming to your lives. All that is thought and unsaid will also be released, because we know Spirit is all-knowing. We pray in and through this, the nature and the living nature of Jesus Christ, and so it is. Amen.
Now is time in our service